The year is 2023. Yu-Gi-Oh! Has devolved to the point where all you have to do is play hand traps in your deck to win games, and it's really degenerate and everyone's not having very much fun, but we just kind of keep playing because we've spent too much money on the game and we can't stop. And a time traveler has traveled back to tell me how to deck build in 2023. And this is a joke deck profile, but it is just going to be a bunch of hand traps. But what's going on, guys? Welcome back to NolanTCG, and yeah, we've decided to have a bit of fun here on this casual Friday where this is the Handtrap.Dek. This is not going to get very many views because this is going to be worded really, really weirdly. But yeah, this is a deck entirely built around playing as many hand traps as you possibly can and still fitting an engine in. Effectively, I think this came from like a Reddit post like 6 months ago, where it was like the progression of Yu-Gi-Oh! Power creep, and like 2023 was you have to play 30 hand traps in your deck in order to like win a YCS. This isn't quite that many. This is 27. I needed Desires in the deck because it just like kind of made a lot more sense than not playing Desires in the deck. So this is 27 card hand trap deck thing. But as always, before we do get started, please remember to drop down below and hit that subscribe button if you are new here, because we are always happy to have new people. And yeah, this one is an interesting one, and let's get into it. Okay, so starting us off, we have the main deck, which is a lot of hand traps. We have 3 copies of Ash Blossom. I'm definitely going to be taking this to locals at some point just to like see how this actually plays out. But yeah, we got 3 copies of Ash Blossom. Just good hand trap. 3 copies of Droll and Lockbird, also good hand trap. 3 copies of DD Crow, another good hand trap. 3 copies of Nibiru, another good hand trap. So basically, you're just trying to get as much coverage as you can out of like the primary hand traps. So you've got like diverse everything. You can stop pretty much every deck. Your goal is just to see like 4 hand traps and an engine piece in this deck, and then like you're good to go because you just have gas. But continuing on, 3 copies of Ghost Mourner and Moonlit Chill, 3 copies of Ghost Spell and the Haunted Mansion, 3 copies of Ghost Ogre and Snow Rabbit. I could just call this like the Ghost Girl deck. Like, pure Ghost Girls. But that's not true, because there's more to the deck. We've got 3 copies of Effect Veiler, then 3 copies of Imperm round out our hand trap lineup. So, 27 hand traps go into this deck. Incredibly consistent in drawing hand traps. The ratio is almost way too many. Almost. Mathematically, it's not too many yet. We will still mathematically see one of these 13 cards in our hand. And if we see one of these 13 cards, we can play Yu-Gi-Oh! And our opponent can't. Because it is the invoked package that we're rounding it out with. So it's 3 copies of Alistair, 3 copies of Meltdown, 3 copies of Invo, just your standard package for that, 3 copies of Desires, and then the 40th card is a Terraforming, because Terraforming is also Alistair. So ultimately, you're playing 7 Alistairs, 27 hand traps. Hopefully you see 1 of one and 4 of another, and you don't open double Desires, triple Invocation, because that is like horrendous. Hopefully pretty much every hand trap here will hit the format, like will hit anything in the format somehow. You can just side deck a bunch more hand traps and just style it out to the way you want to play it. But let's get on into the extra deck for this one. Okay, next off we have the extra deck, and it is 1 copy of Almirage and 1 copy of Secure Gardener, just for generally getting a light monster. You can also utilize the fire monster later on. Then we've got 1 Nightmare Phoenix and 1 Unicorn. They are like the primary link monsters that you play in the deck. Ultimately, you're just trying to resolve an invocation every turn. So every turn when you're playing, you want to be resolving invocation and just hand trapping your opponent so they can't play. Because I don't think anything can play through 4 hand traps that are different. Imagine if you just open all 1 hard ones per turn. So that's going to be so fun. Then we've got... There's definitely more than 1 Purgatrio in here. We've got 2 copies of Purgatrio. This is a little scrambled, so let me just quickly fix this up. That's perfect. Then after that, we've got 2 copies of Macabre, 2 copies of Ragin, 1 Coicatus, 1 Mangelica, or Magelica. Yeah, I think I said that right. Then we've got 3 copies of Agoitus to round out the monster lineup. Oh, well, the extra egg lineup. The reason why I'm playing 3 of this is just because it puts much more pressure onto the opponent's board. If you're only going to be doing like 2,500 on the first turn, hopefully, Then you're going to be doing like a little bit more on the second turn. On the third turn, you want to just drop a Goitus, make sure your opponent like can't play anymore. Hopefully at that point, it's like over. Hopefully. Because you can't really go much longer than that. But that'll wrap us up here for the deck profile for this one. If you do have any ways that you would play a 30 Handtrap deck, do comment that down below. I'd love to see like the diversity of everyone's ideas. My thought was just like straight away, you play 10 cards, invoke package, away we go. Then I was like, oh, I need to kind of play this Desires. So we made it 27. If you can fit 30 hand traps into a competent deck, and it's still 40 cards, big asterisk on that one, make sure it's still 40 cards. That's going to be the challenge. Comment them down below. I hope this has been a fun casual Friday to anyone who's like enjoyed watching this deck profile. But as always, I've been Ben from NolanTCG, and have a good afternoon, everybody.